Tom may have been the Piper's son, but also that happens to be the name of the day. Tom Ambrose from the Phoenix Suns, and now Tom Watson from Family Talk. I mean, the kind of family talk that really attracted us immediately, because the name of the book is Man Shoes, The Journey to Becoming a Better Man, Husband, and Father. 3 career fields, as a matter of fact, that don't necessarily intertwine. You really do place an enormous amount of importance on time with your family. Talk to us about what you mean by that.
Well, you know, with everything that's going on in the economy right now, and I think we're being stretched as men to be the dad and the husband at home. The world is a global marketplace now to find work, and sometimes we're having to travel a long ways to find work, or we're having to work, you know, dual jobs, and even with our wives having to get out and work maybe 1 or 2 jobs just to make ends meet. So time with our family has become a difficult thing to accomplish.
Did you learn that from your father not spending enough time with you, with families that I know were unusual in your case?
Yeah. No, for me, what I learned this from was my own experience of trying to build business, and realizing that chasing that corporate dream was really driving a wedge between the time that I was spending with my kids and my wife, and the time that I had to dedicate to building a business.
But talk about you being a kid, because that in itself is a building block for so many things that come later.
Well, for me, I was a foster child. I went through 13 foster homes. I was just reading.
When I read that, I can't even imagine how you can survive, even if you have 13 great homes.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, I didn't have 13 great homes. You know, I suffered quite a bit of abuse. I read in your local newspaper this morning that child deaths in your community have gone up through abuse.
Dramatic.
And I was one of those kids. I suffered a lot of abuse. I went through 13 foster homes, and so I had this unstable life, and I didn't want that for my children. I think that's the driving force behind what I do in my life, and the decisions that I had to make. Some of those decisions are in this book, and really the book was written because I had a stroke, and I wasn't sure I was going to make it, and I thought I need to tell my sons my journey and some of the things that I struggled with, and hopefully that will become something for them to build their lives on.
You've traveled the world. Are Man Shoes the same in Africa as they are here?
No. You know, the great thing about going to communities like Africa and that kind of stuff is the ability to see that no matter how difficult my life has been early on, there's people around the world that have way more significant difficulties than we do. So.
Because time is always not only the driving force in television, but also our enemy when we get an important author like you on talking about an important subject like parenting. Narrow it down to at least one rule, not the most important rule necessarily, or rule number one. Just give the dads who are watching right now something that they can use beginning now.
Well, beginning right now, I'll give you a simple formula that's in the book in chapter 1 of Man Shoes, which is my choice plus my actions equals my life. And so that little formula has ruled my life. My choice to have a good relationship with my wife, my choice to have a good relationship with my spouse, my children. The happier they are, the better I'm going to do at work, the happier we are. So a simple philosophy. The second thing I'd tell you is serve. Serve your wife, serve your children, serve others before you serve yourself, and you'll get served back.
Now, what do you mean by serving? Define that.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of us think, we wake up in the morning, we think somebody owes us something. Actually, nobody really owes us anything. And so to be a great husband or a great community member or a great father, I think we have to step our service. So in the morning, I make sure my wife's coffee's ready for her when she gets up. I make sure the paper's where she likes it and the pencil's out so she can do her crosswords. It's simple.
I have two co-hosts that are over in the corner right now making notes saying, I can't believe it. I never thought about that. Wait till I get home.
I'm sorry, I get beat up by more husbands.
How old are your kids?
My oldest is 24, Brad. Kelly's 22, and Jordan is 17. He's in his last year of high school.
Tell me, the 17, what is his name?
Jordan.
If Jordan was here doing the interview with me instead of you, what would he say that you do best, and where do you fail?
I think he would say that I do my best when I'm actually there for him. And by being there, there's two parts of being there. There's being there physically, and then the second real key to being there is being there mentally. Sometimes, I think what he would say is, sometimes I fail because I'm there physically, but I'm not there mentally. And that can be very disruptive in a family.
What about the single moms that are watching right now who have to be mom and dad too, and wear high heels and man shoes?
Yeah. You know, my first wife passed away, and I was a single dad for a while, so I can empathize with single moms and single dads as well.
That was a devastating part of the book,
Yeah.
much less a devastating part of your life.
Yeah. So I really empathize with them, and it is very difficult, as I detail in chapter 7 of my book. You know what? You have to keep the faith. Your children, rely on your children more than you normally would. As a dual family with a wife and a husband, I don't necessarily rely on my children like I would have had to when I was relying on them when they were younger. They're amazing. Children are amazing. They're resilient, and you just have to build into them as best you can be.
But what about the parent, though, who's watching right now saying, listen, here's a guy who's a successful businessman, and he's a traveler, and he's an author, for crying out loud, and I'm out there beating my buns on the sidewalk just simply trying to pay the mortgage payments. How do I have time for everybody?
You don't have time for everybody, and that's the real key. And back up 30 years, I was the same as they were, struggling to make ends meet. It's prioritizing your life. What's most important? You have to be important to yourself. You've got to find time for yourself. Your children have to be very important to you. And then everybody else is after that.
The book is available?
It's on Amazon. It's 5-star on Amazon. And you can get it on my website and follow me, www.manshoes.net.
That's simple, particularly with as simple and as compelling a title as Man Shoes. The minute this came across our desk, we said, no, let's get this guy on. And it made it even more important once we read the book. Tom Watson, congratulations to you mostly for what you do at home. Now, the Kardashians, of course, I don't know what shoes they're wearing, but we know that they're really pretty. They'll be just one of the many points of discussion on Group Scoop coming up.